Please be upstanding for the Worshipful Mayor of Fylde.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As the outgoing Mayor, can I welcome everyone here today to the annual general meeting of Fylde Borough Council. I give special thanks to my chaplain, Alan Clark, also to the Mayor's Secretary, Joe Collins, and to David Oxley, who served both the Mayoress and myself so well as attendant. I'd particularly like to give my thanks to Karen and Howard Henshaw. They have been our deputies throughout this year and served us and the council so well. Thank you, Karen. I have thoroughly enjoyed representing the Borough Council over the last 12 months. I believe we have a good council here at Fylde, and I also think that the council is well served by its chief executive, Alan Oldfield, and his staff. So again, thank you to Alan for looking after me and keeping me, as far as he could, on the straight and narrow. Chairing council meetings can be quite a mayoral challenge at times, but I believe the quality and balance of debate I have experienced this year has been a credit to all of you councillors who are sitting here in front of me. It certainly made this official part of my duties very easy, so a big thank you to you all. The Mayoress and I have been well received throughout the borough, and I can happily pass on the respects which so many residents have expressed about the general quality and the place in which they live. And I think in that is something that we hear so often. I think as councillors maybe we hear the grumbles, but as the Mayor and Mayoress, okay, you go to the places that have asked you to come. Nevertheless, it is so enjoyable to hear people speak well of this authority and the way it is run. We live in a very good environment, and it's nice to see it so appreciated. So as I leave, I wish the council, its members and staff, my very best wishes for the future. Thank you. I would now ask you to turn to item number 1 in the agenda, and I will ask Councillor Liz Oates to introduce this item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors, honorary aldermen and honoured guests, it is with pleasure that I propose that Councillor Peter Hardy be elected to serve as Mayor of the Borough of Fylde for the municipal year 2015 to 16. Peter Peter has represented Kirkham South at Fylde as an independent councillor for the past 18 years, and as we share the same ward, I've got to know him very well. We work together to try to provide the best for our electorate, and as he's just been re-elected, he must be doing something right. I first met Peter when he applied to be co-opted onto Kirkham Town Council more than 20 years ago. Unfortunately, he was unsuccessful, but Peter being Peter didn't let that deter him, and he successfully stood for election 2 years later, and the rest is history. Peter's family suffered a dreadful tragedy when he was only 3 months old. The family home was destroyed in a fire, and Peter's mother was killed. He and his siblings also lost their home, and as a result he was brought up in a Barnardo's home, and he's very, very proud of Barnardo's and serves them as often as he can, whenever he can. It says much about Peter that he's fought through everything life's thrown at him, and I know that he's very proud to be the mayor-elect today. Peter is very community-minded and has worked with various groups in the Fylde. He's proud to have been a governor at Kirkham and Wesson Primary School for many years, a volunteer helper in the Barnardo's and Kirkham Rural Lions charity shops, and he's taken adults from the Sunnybank Centre on walks around Kirkham, talking about Kirkham's considerable history. Anyone listening to Peter's booming voice will not be surprised to learn that he also fancies himself as an amateur thespian and has been connected to many amateur dramatic groups over the years. He was also a football referee for 30 years in various leagues, and there are hundreds of grown men walking around today who still refer to him as Penalty Pete. Indeed, several of them came out to vote a couple of weeks ago. Whether or not they voted for him, I suppose, depends on how he performed in their matches. But I have to say, they all seemed to welcome him fondly. He also charmed every female who came to the polling station by referring to them as young lady, whatever their age. By the end of the day, we'd heard it so many times we were all ready to scream, but it certainly seems to have worked. Peter will be ably assisted by his wife Sheila, a popular lady who has been Mayoress of Kirkham on several occasions, so she knows what she's doing. And I know that their deputies, Heather and Jen, will complete a knowledgeable, popular and experienced team. Peter and Sheila have 6 children, 16 grandchildren and 1 great-granddaughter, so you can imagine that Christmas is a very busy time in their home. I know that they're all proud that Peter is to be made first citizen of the borough today. We hope that you all have a wonderful year. We know that you'll serve this council and the people of this borough in a dignified and friendly manner, putting people of all ages, genders, backgrounds and nationalities at ease. I commend Peter to you for the ensuing year.
Would you stand a second, please?
Mr Mayor, Honorary Alderman, honoured guests, councillors, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to second the proposition that Councillor Peter Hardy be Mayor of Fylde for 2015-16. You will find that a lot of the phrases that my friend and colleague here has just used will be repeated, so we're obviously speaking from the same hymn sheet. I've known Peter for almost 30 years, and I know he will make an excellent mayor for the borough of Fylde. I first met Peter when he popped up at a No-Gal Players social evening at Wesson Community Centre. I was running the temporary bar for the event, and this charming, gregarious, flattering gentleman kept appearing, you all know Peter, kept appearing to buy a pint and a gin and tonic, I think it was. and we looked over to see who he was buying the G&Ts for. It was Sheila, who'd been a friend for many years. Sheila was grinning from ear to ear for the first time in all the time we'd known her. When Peter came to the bar again, he said, "Should I be buying her another one?" We said, "Yes, enjoy the moment, carry on." The rest is history. Peter and Sheila have now had a long and happy marriage for more than 25 years. They're both family people, enjoying spending time with their respective children and many, many grandchildren and great-grandchild. As Liz has said, Peter is a Barnardo's boy and proud of it. I remember him saying the first time he was Mayor of Kirkham, "Fancy me, a Barnardo's boy, being the Mayor of the town." Well, Peter, you've beaten that today. That Barnardo's boy is now about to be Mayor of the borough. Peter had a physical job in his working life, working on keeping the tram tracks in Blackpool in good order and spending his weekends refereeing in various places. In their spare time, both Peter and Sheila have been involved in several drama groups, sometimes performing and sometimes making costumes and scene shifting. They've enjoyed supporting Bruce, who I'm sure we will see a lot of in his singing career. Peter is involved with several charities and regularly works in the charity shops in Kirkham. But the biggest thing in his life, other than Sheila and their families, has been and still is Kirkham and Wesham County Primary School. He goes the extra mile there, being a governor, helping with fundraising, even going on school trips with the children. I know he is immensely proud of his school and helps in any way he can. Peter and Sheila will make an excellent mayor and mayoress of Fylde. They've plenty of experience, having been town mayor and mayoress of Kirkham on 3 occasions, and also previously deputies of the borough. And they will be well supported by their experienced deputies, Heather and Jen. I know they will also be able to raise money for their chosen excellent charities. Peter never lets anyone pass the raffle tickets and has the loudest booming voice to encourage people that you've ever heard. Mr Mayor, it's my pleasure to second the proposition that Councillor Peter Hardy become Mayor of the Borough of Fylde for 2015 to 16.
Thank you, Linda. Councillors, would you please show your agreement that Councillor Peter Hardy is elected Mayor for the ensuing year? That is unanimous. Well done, Peter.
ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the Worshipful Mayor of Fylde, Councillor Peter Hardy.
Is he doing the change now?
Yes, Peter, he's doing the chains. I think the chains need putting on Sheila. We do rehearse this.
Tonight. Item 2. Can you all hear me? To appoint a Deputy Mayor for the Borough of Fylde. I have asked Councillor Heather Speak if she would be my Deputy Mayor for the ensuing year, and she kindly agreed. Heather and I have known each other since we both came on the council together many moons ago, and I've always got on with Heather, and I think she's always got on with me. She was mayor in this position 4 years ago, and she did an excellent job for this borough, and I'd just like to say that I'm very pleased that she will be my Deputy Mayor, and I'm proposing that. No more. Can I ask Councillor Peter Collins to second this?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and may I take this opportunity to congratulate you on your appointment. Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors, honorary aldermen and honoured guests, it gives me great pleasure to second the Mayor's proposal that Councillor Heather Speak be appointed Deputy Mayor for the coming municipal year. Those of you who know her already know that Heather is a lovely person, hard-working and passionate about her ward. And it is a pleasure to know her, to work with her as a fellow ward councillor, and a pleasure to have her as a personal friend. I first met Heather in 1999 when we both stood for election in the Newton and Trails ward. And I'm happy to say that Heather was successful on that occasion, but sorry to say that I wasn't. I had to wait another 4 years to join her at Fylde. The magnitude of Heather's success that year cannot be underestimated. She had never been a councillor before at any level. So, from a standing start, she led a campaign against a proposed motorway service station in her ward. A successful campaign that resulted in her election to this council. And in the process, she managed to unseat a long-serving, well-respected and competent councillor. No mean feat in itself. But that election victory was no fluke. She has retained her seat ever since, increasing her share of the vote at every election. She is a plain-talking councillor and is popular with and respected by both officers and her fellow councillors alike. But perhaps more importantly, she is well liked and respected by the people she represents. She has a very friendly and disarming manner. When she says, "Hello and how are you?" it is said with genuine warmth and interest. But don't let that fool you. If she thinks you're in the wrong, she will tell you straight and not pull any punches. You'll know about it. One good thing about Heather is that you always know where you stand with her. 1999, when Heather was first elected, seems like a lifetime ago now. A different millennium, when everyone was worried about the Y2K bug, but not Heather. There's no such thing as council laptops, and Heather was not included in the 20% of the population who had internet access in those days. Heather could not be described as a techno freak. She still hasn't got a mobile phone. When she's gardening or painting in her retro summer house, she's out of earshot of her landline. She might as well be on another planet. Perhaps sometimes she is. Also in 1999, the minimum wage was introduced at £3.60 an hour if you're over 21, or £3 if you're under. Unfortunately, it has stayed at about £3.60 an hour for Fylde councillors ever since. It's no wonder we have no councillors under the age of 21. Time has moved on, and the big issue is no longer a motorway service station. But we all know about what is proposed at Rosica Wood, and Heather has worked tirelessly in opposing such unwelcome and inappropriate developments. In accepting the appointment of Deputy Mayor, Heather and her husband Frank know exactly what they are letting themselves in for. I believe Frank has told her she should get a proper job. She has previously been Mayoress, Deputy Mayoress, and in 2012-13 she had her own year as Mayor, and I was honoured when she asked me to be Deputy Mayor that year. And what a year it was. Heather met the Queen within hours of becoming Mayor. It was the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. We had the Open Golf at Royal Lytham. The Olympic torch came through the borough en route to London, and it was Preston Guild year. That year, Heather took her many engagements in her stride, as I'm sure she will this year. And so, Mr Mayor, it gives me great pleasure to second your proposal that Councillor Heather Speake be confirmed as Deputy Mayor for the ensuing municipal year, and I commend her to this council. Thank you.
Can I ask the councillors to vote on the proposal that Councillor Heather Speake be the Deputy Mayor? That's unanimous. Thank you all very much.
ask what Jen and Howard told me.
That's it. I would just like to say a few words to the retiring Mayor, Mr Kevin Eastham, and thank him for his year of office. He's done a tremendous job throughout the Fylde. As he has been on the council, he's done a tremendous job. We've had ups and downs like everyone does, but he's been a real asset to this town, and thank you again, Kevin, for all you've done for the Fylde. Thank you. I'd ask Kevin if you'd now step down to receive your past Mayor's badge. Speech time.
No, it's this first.
Yeah, speech.
This bit here. Then what do you say like that? There will be a short musical interlude in proceedings while flowers are presented to the Mayoress, the Deputy Mayor, the Deputy Mayoress, the retiring Deputy Mayor and the retiring Mayoress, the female Honorary Alderman and the wives of male Honorary Alderman who are present at the meeting. It'll be you after this.
That said before. honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, honorary aldermen, my turn. I haven't written a speech. I've never written a speech in my life. It just comes straight out from here. Can you all hear me again? Yes? What a day, what a build-up. I knew 4 years ago that if I was re-elected a fortnight ago, I'd be the Mayor of Fylde. There was 4 of us on the same length of service. We drew lots, and unfortunately I was the last one out the hat. But it's flown past, and now I'm here. It is a great honour to become the first citizen of the Fylde. And you do feel humbled. I know they say this every year, but you do feel very humbled to be in this position. I'm getting very hot because this weighs a ton and I'm roasted, but never mind. The Fylde Coast, to me and to lots of other people throughout the country, is a gem of a place to live in. I came over from the northeast. My hometown was Darlington, but as was said earlier, I was in Bernardo's homes for 12 and a half years. We were well looked after, had no complaints. Now they don't have the homes anymore, but they still do valuable work throughout this country, not this town, Bernardo's. It's where, I think the motto is where every child matters. I moved down into Darlington when I was nearly 13 and a half, 14, and straight away I joined the Scouts movement. Them days, the Scouts had the particular hat, and you always wore shorts, not like nowadays, long trousers and berets. It set me on the path. I learnt a lot of things in my time as a Scout. I ended up, before I left, being a cub pack leader. And ever since then, I've always wanted to do things to help young people. I joined a youth club. I used to run a youth club up in Darlington. I moved over to Blackpool in 1970, I think, 72, something like that. I joined a youth club and I set up badminton classes because nobody had a clue how to play that. Then I took up refereeing. I took my son, he's here today, my eldest son, and to play football. There are no referees. Will you referee it, Dad? Go on, Dad, go on, Dad. And I did, and I ended up doing 30 years refereeing football. I got as high as Northern Premier League, for those who know football, the pyramid. Then they turn around and say, you're too old. I enjoyed every minute of it. I then moved to Kirkham, 1986. I had 3 lovely children, and unfortunately I went through a divorce and remarried again. Married Sheila. We've been married 26 years now, and she has 3 children. So between his 6 children, as I was mentioned, 16 grandchildren, and last year I was made a great granddad. I don't know how, a young lad like me, you know. And ever since I moved to Kirkham, I got involved in the town. I love local history, and as it was mentioned, this last year or so I've been taken out from the day centre, Fylde Day Centre in Kirkham, the disabled people, who actually are so knowledgeable, and they take in all you tell them. And I take them around Kirkham and tell them a bit of the history and all that. It was mentioned Kirkham Western Primary School. Been there, I think it must be about 20 years now, and it actually keeps you young at heart working with young people, and I've worked I've been out, as I mentioned, day trips. Year 6 go to York every year for a week, Monday to Friday. I've been 13 times. So I know quite a lot about York. And the children, they do enjoy it, and they come back, they've learnt a lot. And I think never again, and the following year, would you like to go to York again? But as I say, 13 times I've been. I've really enjoyed it, enjoyed the school. But the headmistress, she's here today. I've told her in the last month or two, we'll be retiring from the school as a governor in July at the end of the summer term. I've come to the decision because obviously this next year I'm going to be very busy in my mayoral role, and I'll have to tell you my age now. By the time I finish next May, I'll be 75. So I think it's time they've got someone, a younger person, on the governing board. I was really surprised when I first went on how much power governors do have at schools, but how things have changed in schools. We're into this electronic age, microchip, all these whiteboards in school and everything. Even on the town council, they're giving you money now to buy, iPads or whatever they are. I'm afraid I'm not into all that. I must be old-fashioned. We have a computer at home, which the mayoress does everything. We get emails and she does all. She's my secretary, aren't you, dear? But when you think over the last 20 years how it's all crept in this electronic age, it's a good thing in a way, and other ways it's bad. But that's progress, isn't it? Going back to the Fylde Coast, what a brilliant, what a lovely place to live. I believe it's one of the top 10 or so places in the country to live, the Fylde. And top 3. Oh, thank you for that. You see, Fylde Council, is it? That's better still then. The top 3 places to live in this country, and I can see why. And I think everyone on the council, and itself included, want to keep promoting the Fylde Coast, because what a place it is to live in. We have an excellent councillors on the council. We have some new members now after the election. I can't see any here. There's 1 or 2, I think. I'll first meet and I'll welcome them anyway. And we have an excellent staff works in the council offices. We have the chief executive officer here. We have the director of resources here. And I've said all along, they're there to help you. If you have any queries, anything, you're not sure, they're there and they help you. They can't do enough for you. And I think this is why we've got such an excellent council, is because the staff that work here for us. And I just do say thank you and keep carrying on, help me out this next year. I found previous mayor makings, and the new mayor says, let's get Fylde on the map. Rubbish. The Fylde is on the map. It's been on the map for years, and it's getting better and better. Let's keep it that way. With all these trophies we win for Fylde in Bloom, Lytham, Kirkham, all around it. We do well throughout the country on that. And it's a lovely place to live in. I've really got into the swing of it all since I moved to Kirkham. And let's keep all this up. There's not a lot more I wish to say at this juncture, I don't think. But just to thank you all for coming today, and I hope you'll all support my charities in the coming year. The charities will be, firstly, for obvious reasons, Bernardo's. I have 2 managers, I think, from the charity shops, one in Kirkham, I think the one in Lytham. They're here today, and if I can help in any way, I will do. Secondly, one I never thought of till I got onto it as an observer on the council is Citizens Advice Bureau. the amount of work they do, and a lot of people don't realise what they do. And recently they've taken on, I think it's the food bank, am I right? I've got the manager here somewhere, Kit. A heck of a lot, but as in anything, it's a registered charity, and everyone, they need money or they need help. They've just got a tenure on the offices in Kirkham and the whole building, so that's going to be refurbished, so that will need money. Thirdly, young people I'm going for again, and that is the Fylde Scouts and Guides Association. I think to help young people out on the way in life, I think they deserve to be one of my charities. And before I say my last one, I did ask the manager last year in Kirkham, how many charities are there? And last year in England, Scotland, I think Ireland, Wales, there was over 166,000. That is a lot of charities. And trying to pick out which to do, it's a heck of a job. And lastly, my fourth charity I'm doing for is Kirkham Rural Splash, the swimming baths in Kirkham. It's like everything, they need money to go. It is run in conjunction with the YMCA, who do an excellent job. I was thinking of them as one of my charities, but as the mayor, the previous mayor had them this last year, I just thought I'll give the baths a bit of a push. So those are my charities, and with that, my wife keeps looking at me, stop waffling, I shall stop, and thank you all very much. I thought we were finished, we're not. This is the agenda for the meeting, which won't take long, hopefully. Have any of the members any declarations of interests to declare at our meeting? No declarations of interest? Thank you. Item agenda 4, confirmation of the minutes. I will propose from the Chair that the minutes of the previous meeting held on 30th of March 2015 be confirmed as a correct record.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to second those minutes.
Thank you. All in favour? Thank you. Any against? No abstentions? Excellent. Unanimous. Thank you. Mayor's announcements next. I'd like to announce that my chaplain for the next 12 months will be the Reverend Rick Bundy from St Michael's Parish Church in Kirkham. I've known Rick for quite some time now. He's like me, he's an avid football man. To me, he's really down to earth, and he's, you know, the church, you think of old vogies and 2-hour sermons. Rick's not Rick. He's all right. Where is he? No, it's the way I tell him. I know. It's all right, is Rick. Good fella. I would class him as a mate. Anyway, so Rick's going to be my chaplain for next year. Going on from that, my Civic Sunday will be on Sunday, the 7th of June. At 10 o'clock, the service is St Michael's Church in Kirkham, and there will be a parade from town end for people who know Kirkham up to the church for the Civic Sunday, followed by refreshments at the community centre. I think, oh yes, I think I was going to say that was all, but up to now, I've just been made the mayor in the last few minutes, and I think up to now we have 40, 50 engagements already. So it's going to be a very busy year, dear. One of them, which comes very quickly, is a week on Thursday. we've been invited to a garden party at Buckingham Palace. Well, definitely who, because I got a phone call the other night from Buckingham Palace. It's that long since I've seen you, when are you coming down again? No, I'm looking forward to that. We're looking forward to the whole year, going to different functions and throughout the Fylde, and I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope I can be as good a mayor as all our previous mayors have been. I think that's all. Next item. Chief Executive, do we have any communications to report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to welcome the 51 members that make up the new council for Fylde for the next 4 years. We have returning councillors and new councillors. I'm sure that together we're going to do a fantastic job for the next 4 years. I'd also like to wish all the best and thank you to those people that were not able to get re-elected or chose not to be re-elected. They've done a fantastic job over the last 4 years for the council. I'd like to thank Kevin Eastham, the outgoing mayor, who's had a fantastic year. We've enjoyed working with Kevin. He's been very amicable to all the staff. He has sold the Fylde like nobody else before. He's done a wonderful job. He was fantastic at his mayoral ball. Last seen at 1 a.m, hung around 2 young girls dancing and singing songs. So I know Kevin's had a good year and he's been an asset to the Fylde. And I'm very much looking forward to working with the new mayor. We think it's going to be a fun year. Thank you very much.
Leader and Deputy Leader. I'd like to invite Councillor Reeves to introduce this item.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and may I congratulate you on your appointment. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'd rise to propose Councillor Fazakerley as leader and Councillor Buckley as deputy leader for the next 4 years. Councillor Fazakerley has served this council for an incredible 28 years, having first been elected in 1987. During this time, Councillor Fazakerley has held numerous positions. In fact, as Fylde Council returns to a committee system, Councillor Fazakerley is one of the few remaining councillors to have actually served under a committee system. I appointed Councillor Fazakerley as my deputy leader in 2010. Upon my standing down in October last year, Councillor Fazakerley was appointed leader until today. Councillor Fazakerley will continue to promote Fylde Council in a dedicated, committed and professional manner. Councillor Buckley has served this council for the past 8 years. I appointed Councillor Buckley as portfolio holder for finance, a position that has been held up to date, and Councillor Buckley made a great success of that appointment. Upon Councillor Fazakerley being appointed leader in November 2014, Councillor Buckley was elected as deputy leader. Councillor Buckley will assist the leader in driving Fylde Council forward through the challenges ahead. I commend those to you, Mr. Mayor, and I do have a seconder.
Can I ask Councillor Fazakerley?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I start by saying how I enjoyed your presentation to the Assembly this afternoon? From the heart, thank you. Mr. Mayor, I stand to second the proposition that Councillor Susan Fazakerley and Councillor Karen Buckley be leader and deputy leader respectively of Fylde Borough Council. I do so confident that Fylde Borough will prosper under their collective stewardship. That's all.
Thank you. Can we have a vote on that, please? All in favour of Councillor Fazakerley and Councillor Buckley, leader and deputy leader? Thank you. Don't need to go for or against, do we?
You want to?
No.
That's carried.
That's carried. Item number 8, confirmation of committees and allocation of memberships. I'd like to invite Councillor Fazakerley to introduce this item, please.
Thank you. Before I introduce the item, Mr. Mayor, can I just add my congratulations to the other congratulations expressed already and to my friend Councillor Speak as well. I'm sure you're looking forward to a wonderful year and I'm sure you will thoroughly enjoy it. Colleagues, item 8, confirmation of committees and allocation of membership. Mr. Mayor, colleagues, the Council normally receives a similar report to this at the last business meeting of the municipal year. However, in an election year, the report must, by law, be brought to the annual meeting instead. In a normal year, the report would invariably recommend that the committees and their membership simply continue as existing. However, this is far from a normal year. Not only have we had elections, but we have moved to a committee system. And so there are 4 entirely new committees to formally appoint and populate with members. Members will see a number of recommendations in the report, and I will go through each in turn briefly. Recommendation 1 is to formally appoint the committees with their terms of reference as shown in the report, its appendix and the update sheet which is before members this afternoon. These are the committees set out in the table in paragraph 6 of the report and the licensing committee. The membership for each committee is set out in the table in paragraph 6 of the report. Recommendation 2 is to allocate seats in accordance with the rules of political balance. There have been some changes in the composition of political groups since the election, and the updated calculations showing how the principles of political balance translate into allocations on each committee is shown on the update sheet. Recommendation 3 is not relevant because group leaders have made their nominations to fill the seats allocated to their group. I'll take recommendation 4 in 2 parts. The first part is the formal appointment of members to each committee. This is done and has to be done in accordance with the nominations made by the political groups, except for seats reserved to members who are not part of a political group. Members have in front of them a sheet showing the proposed membership of the committees. The second part of the recommendation 4 is to appoint Mr. Ronald Elwood and Mr. Brian Horrocks as co-opted members of the Chief Officer Employment Committee. Mr. Elwood and Mr. Horrocks are 2 of the independent persons appointed by the Council as part of the member standards machinery. They need to be appointed to the committee as a result of new regulations as set out in paragraph 5 of the report. Recommendation 5 deals with the licensing committee, which is not required to be politically balanced. The proposed membership of the committee is again on the sheet in front of members. Recommendation 6 asks the Council to appoint chairman and vice chairman to each committee. The proposed chairman and vice chairman are on the updated sheet. Finally, recommendation 7 is about the membership, chairmanship and vice chairmanship of the Member Development Steering Group. I therefore move that the Council appoints the committees set out in the update sheet with the seat allocations where applicable, membership, chairman and vice chairman set out in the update sheet, and that the Council appoints members a chairman and vice chairman to the Member Development Steering Group as set out in the update sheet. I don't think actually we have the members of the Member Development Steering Group actually on this sheet, Mr. Mayor, but we have appointed a chairman in Councillor Nash and Edward Nash and a vice chairman, Councillor Frank Andrews, and Councillor Nash is gathering members into his fold. I think he's already asked a number of people, but he's got some more people to ask, possibly this afternoon. So with that deviation from the action-packed update sheet, Mr. Mayor, I would like to move those recommendations, and I do have a seconder. Thank you.
And I stand, Mr. Mayor, to second that proposal. Thank you.
Before I take the vote, does anyone wish to speak on this? Councillor.
Sorry to ask this question today, but can we have some clarification on the member steering group? I thought, working group, I thought that had to be politically balanced.
It's the Member Development Steering Group, and that's not required to be politically balanced. At this moment in time, a chair and a vice chair is proposed. They're leaving the actual membership of it to discuss with the groups and come to the next full council.
All in favour of the committee allocations? Thank you. That is carried. Item number 9, appointments to outside bodies. I'd like to invite Councillor Fasackley to introduce his item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Colleagues, I would like to propose the following recommendation: that this matter stands referred to the next council meeting to allow the various programme committees the opportunity to recommend appointments from within their respective memberships for those outside bodies relating to the brief of their committee. Mr. Mayor, I have a seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I stand again to second that proposal.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak on this item? Then we'll take the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. That is unanimous. Item 10, schedule of meetings. I'd like to invite Councillor Fasackley again to introduce this item. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Colleagues, I would like to move the recommendation on today's order paper to approve the schedule of meetings for 2015-16, subject to any necessary amendments. I'd also like to draw members' attention to the starting time for all evening meetings being 6:15. I have a second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I again second that proposal.
Thank you. All in favour of that? Please show. Thank you. That is carried. Before we finish, I'd be rather remiss. I was informed before I came in today, but everything on top of me. We have 2 birthdays today. I'd just like to wish Eunice. Where are you, Eunice? Our friend lives down in Milton Keynes. She's here today. It's her birthday today. And also Councillor Barbara Nash's birthday today. So happy birthday to both of you. Thank you.
That concludes the meeting.
That concludes the meeting, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Members of the Council, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the National Anthem.
Councillor.